Hi everyone. Today we're going to look at a topic that is often discussed but rarely finds its way into print. And that is the subject of the modern whale factory ships. This book, published by Ships in Focus Publications and authored by Ian Hart, fills a gap within the genre, mainly within the development of whale factory ships that transition from wooden sailing ships to steel-hulled, steam and diesel-powered floating slaughterhouses. And as a typical Ships in Focus publication, it is beautifully produced. Hardcover, glossy, thick paper, and numerous black and white photos. There are no color photos except one image in the inside front cover and one on the inside back cover. Otherwise everything else is black and white. But the photo reproduction is as good as some of the photos can allow, and 99% of the images are pristine. What this book does is it explores the development of whaling and how innovations such as the stern ramp, more reliable engines, stronger hulls, and advents in tanker architecture allowed the modern whale factory ship to develop and to take on that quite distinctive form. The bulk of this book then lists the various ships that were used as whale factory ships, their lives, and their eventual fates. Quite a few of the early ones had a fiery end, and many were lost in the respective world wars. As no doubt you're seeing, the book is a combination of textual information, outline histories, and photos of the various ships, mostly in their whaling configurations. And this is the part that interests me. I love seeing the various ships and their conversions into whaling ships. It is surprising just how many early ocean liners ended their days as whale factory ships. And for their time, some of these conversions were the most radical that could be done at the time. As the 20th century kicked into gear and we had the development of oil tankers, then that technology and those construction methods were adapted and used for the whale factory ships. After all, there were plenty of similarities. Instead of tanks holding bulk crude oil, you could hold the oil extracted from the poor unfortunate whales. Being a Ships in Focus publication, not only is the production value of this book top-notch, but at the back it provides an absolutely comprehensive bibliography. So for those who are interested in other aspects of whaling and more region-specific, there are some great references there. This book is mainly a ship-by-ship history of those that operated as whale factory ships. So the information is very much in outline format, as again, no doubt you're seeing in the illustrations up above. For those who want a more personalized account of what life was like on modern whaling ships, then this book is not for you. For those who are interested in the political and social developments of modern whaling, even though this has been touched on in this book, I do recommend most fervently, and unfortunately no jacket doesn't help, but The History of Modern Whaling by Tonneson and Johnson. Let me get that for you. Let's do this again. This book I highly recommend for those interested in the development from a political, national and social perspective on modern whaling. The History of Modern Whaling by Tonneson and Johnson. And for those who ever wanted to understand why on earth Japan continues with its quest for scientific whaling, this book holds much of the answers. There is a small section in this book dedicated to some of the secondary roles, support roles to the whale factory ships, such as before the development of the modern tanker shape, you had whale tankers. So you would have the factory ship, then you would have the tankers that would take the oil back to the main ports, and those also ended up with fiery demises. For those who are interested in the developments of whale catchers, there is an appendix dedicated to that, and it is a beautifully concise chapter. But for anyone who wants an absolutely completely detailed history of whale catchers, then this is the book to go for. John Harland's Catchers and Corvettes. This is the ultimate design history of that type. It's a heavy book of that type of vessel. And that will be reviewed at another time as well. And again, for those who want a more colourful, better illustrated in terms of paintings and variety of photographs, and for a more personal perspective about whaling ships, then you have the Flittende Kokorin, which will also be reviewed at a later time. Thankfully, the hunting of whales on an industrial scale has all but disappeared. But for a brief moment within the 20th and late 19th centuries, substantial fleets were devoted to this questionable trade. This book fills a valuable gap in outlining the careers of the various ships that were involved in this trade. It is wonderfully detailed, and the illustrations, many of them rare, are plentiful throughout the book. For this book is a four captain's hats. For those who are interested in this particular aspect of maritime trade, and for those who are interested in the evolution of this type of marine architecture, then this book holds plenty for you. Likewise, for those who are interested in understanding some of the fates of the many ships that were involved in this trade, then this book is an absolute goldmine. It deals with an aspect that is not often covered, and provides plenty of additional information for those who wish to explore and research further. Beautifully presented, well illustrated, and highly detailed. All in all, four captain's hats for this interesting and insightful book.